At 2300 on October 23, 1944, Commander Richard O'Kane stood on the bridge of USS Tang, watching radar returns paint a picture of death on the SJ surface search scope below. 10 Japanese ships heading toward Leyte Gulf. 33 years old, 5 war patrols, 24 ships already sunk. The critics in Pearl Harbor had called his night surface tactics reckless. They said darkness was the enemy's advantage, that submarines belonged underwater at night, that O'Kane's aggressive approach would get him killed. He had just proven them catastrophically wrong. USS Tang was 311 feet of Balao-class submarine steel cutting through the Taiwan Strait at 16 knots. Commissioned October 15, 1943. Powered by 4 Fairbanks-Morse diesel engines producing 5,400 horsepower. Top speed 20 knots on the surface, 9 knots submerged. 10 torpedo tubes, 6 forward, 4 aft. Each tube loaded with Mark 18 electric torpedoes, no wake, no exhaust bubbles, perfect for night attacks. The convoy ahead consisted of 3 tankers, 1 transport, 1 freighter, and 5 escort destroyers, bound for the Philippines, carrying fuel, troops, supplies for the Japanese defense of Leyte. If they reached their destination, American Marines would die on invasion beaches. O'Kane's job was to make sure that never happened. He had pioneered night surface attack tactics against the objections of nearly every submarine commander in the Pacific Fleet. Most skippers believed submarines should attack submerged during daylight, then surface at night to run their diesels and charge batteries. Safe, conservative, by the book. O'Kane did the opposite. He stayed on the surface at night and hunted, used radar to find convoys in total darkness, closed to point-blank range while invisible, fired spreads of torpedoes into the middle of enemy formations, then vanished before the escorts could respond. The tactic was considered suicidal by conventional submariners. Surface attacks meant exposure. Any destroyer could see Tang's silhouette against the night sky. Any escort could ram the submarine before she could dive. But O'Kane understood something the critics missed. Darkness belonged to whoever controlled it. Japanese lookouts were human. They got tired. They strained their eyes, searching black water for black submarines. They couldn't see what radar could see. And by the time they spotted torpedo wakes streaking toward their hulls, it was already too late. Tang had learned these tactics from USS WWII, O'Kane's first submarine. He'd served as executive officer under Lieutenant Commander Dudley "Mush" Morton. 5 war patrols together. Morton had reversed standard submarine doctrine. Instead of commanding from the conning tower, Morton let O'Kane handle the periscope and targeting while Morton ran the attack calculations. The partnership was deadly. WWII sank ship after ship. O'Kane developed the hunter's eye, the ability to judge range, speed, and angle in seconds, the instinct to know when to fire and when to wait. When Morton gave O'Kane his own command, he took those skills to Tang, and he perfected them. O'Kane's approach was simple. Get close. Closer than anyone thought possible. Closer than safety margins allowed. Close enough to see faces on enemy decks. Then fire everything. The first 3 patrols proved the concept worked. Patrol 1, 5 ships sunk, 21,400 tons. Patrol 2, no combat, but 22 downed American pilots rescued under Japanese fire at Truk. Patrol 3, 10 ships sunk, 39,160 tons. The single most devastating American submarine patrol of the war. And it was Patrol 3 that made O'Kane's reputation as the Night Stalker. June 24, 1944. Tang operating in the East China Sea, southwest of Kagoshima. Radar contact, 6 large cargo ships, 16 escort vessels, a massive convoy. Standard doctrine said to stay submerged. Wait for daylight. Pick off stragglers. O'Kane surfaced and attacked at midnight. The radar scope was chaos. 22 contacts overlapping, ships weaving, escorts patrolling. Impossible to sort out individual targets in the electronic clutter. O'Kane made his decision. He would drive Tang into the center of the convoy and fire at anything that moved. The tactic violated every principle of submarine warfare. Entering the middle of an enemy formation meant destroyers on all sides. Depth charges from every direction, no escape route. But it also meant the escorts couldn't shoot without hitting their own ships, and O'Kane would have clear shots at multiple targets simultaneously. Tang closed at 18 knots. The diesel engines roared. Black exhaust poured from the fairwater. The submarine's wake glowed with bioluminescence. But the night was moonless. Cloud cover blocked the stars. The Japanese couldn't see what was coming. At 2,000 yards, O'Kane ordered the first spread. 3 torpedoes. Target, large cargo ship on the convoy's left flank. The Mark 18 left their tubes silently. Electric motors, no compressed air blast, just the mechanical thunk of the firing mechanism. Range 1,800 yards. Torpedo run time, 90 seconds. Tang kept closing. O'Kane didn't wait for impact. He swung the submarine right and fired 3 more torpedoes at a second cargo ship. Then, hard, left rudder. 3 torpedoes at a third ship. 9 torpedoes in the water. 9 white wakes racing through darkness toward Japanese hulls. The first explosion came at 12 o'clock. Tomahoko Maru, a 6,780-ton passenger cargo ship, took 2 torpedoes amidships. The detonations tore through her engine room and flooded her cargo holds. She listed to port and began sinking. 15 seconds later, Tainan Maru exploded. 6,995 tons. The torpedo hit her fuel bunkers. The ship erupted in flames that lit the entire convoy. Japanese destroyers saw Tang for the first time. Searchlights swept the water. Star shells burst overhead. Tracers arced across the darkness. O'Kane dove Tang to 60 feet. Not deep, just enough to break visual contact. The submarine passed directly under the convoy at periscope depth. Japanese propellers churned overhead. Escort sonar pinged. Active. Hunting. Tang's electric motors made almost no sound. O'Kane ordered silent running. Every non-essential system shut down. The crew moved in stocking feet. Nobody spoke above a whisper. 10 minutes later, O'Kane raised the periscope. Tang had emerged on the far side of the convoy. The escorts were still searching where they'd lost contact. The cargo ships had scattered. But 2 remained in formation. Nasusan Maru and Kenichi Maru. 6,886 tons and 6,933 tons, respectively. Both trying to run. If you want to see how O'Kane's next decision turned 4 sinkings into 8 in 1 week, hit that like button. It helps us share these stories of submarine warfare innovation. Subscribe if you haven't already. Back to O'Kane in the Taiwan Strait. 4 ships down on June 24th. Post-war Japanese records confirmed it. Tomahoko Maru, Tainan Maru, Nasusan Maru, and Kenichi Maru, all sunk. 16,292 tons of enemy shipping destroyed. The convoy had overlapped. O'Kane's torpedo spread hit 4 ships instead of 2. Nobody knew it until after the war, when Allied intelligence cross-referenced Tang's patrol report with captured Japanese shipping records. But that was Patrol 3, 4 months ago. Between then and now, Tang had completed Patrol 4 in August 1944, operating in Japanese home waters off the coast of Honshu, the most dangerous patrol zone in the Pacific. Tang had sunk 6 more ships, including the transport Tsukushi Maru carrying Japanese troops, 8,135 tons. O'Kane had fired while Japanese soldiers in white uniforms lined the deck. The ship went down in minutes. Now it was October 23rd. Patrol 5. O'Kane's final mission. And he had just spotted the biggest convoy of his career. 10 ships, 15,000 yards ahead. Tang's SJ radar was painting the formation clearly now. 3 tankers in the center, 1 transport on the left, one freighter on the right, 5 destroyers screening the perimeter, all heading southwest at 12 knots. The convoy was hugging the Chinese coast, shallow water, 180 feet maximum depth. If Tang got hit here, there would be nowhere to dive, no deep water to hide in. Every depth charge would be deadly. O'Kane didn't care. He ordered full speed ahead. Tang's diesels pushed her to 18 knots. The submarine closed the range. 10,000 yards, 8,000, 6,000. Japanese lookouts couldn't see her. The night was too dark. Tang's silhouette was too low. The diesel exhaust dissipated before it formed a visible cloud. At 4,000 yards, one of the escort destroyers altered course, heading directly toward Tang. The destroyer's lookouts must have spotted something. A wake, a shadow, movement on the dark water. O'Kane ordered all stop. Tang coasted to a halt, dead in the water. The destroyer passed 800 yards ahead. Searchlights sweeping left and right, missing Tang by seconds. O'Kane waited until the escort turned back toward the convoy. Then he opened the throttles again. At 2,000 yards, O'Kane made his final approach. He positioned Tang between 2 escorts. Neither destroyer had radar. They were navigating by eye and compass. In the darkness, they couldn't see the submarine gliding past them. O'Kane took Tang directly into the center of the convoy. Range to nearest tanker, 1,200 yards. Range to transport, 1,000 yards. Range to third tanker, 1,400 yards. He was surrounded. Enemy ships on every side. One wrong move, and Tang would be rammed. O'Kane ordered fire. 6 torpedoes left Tang's forward tubes in 20 seconds. 2 at the nearest tanker, 2 at the transport, 2 at the far tanker. The TDC, Torpedo Data Computer, calculated range, speed, and angle automatically. O'Kane just picked targets and pulled the firing trigger. The torpedoes ran hot, straight, and normal, all 6. First impact came at 2,237. 2 explosions under the nearest tanker's stack and engine room. The ship broke in half. Flames shot 200 feet into the air. Diesel fuel burning on the water. The convoy panicked. Ships turned in every direction. The transport tried to run. O'Kane swung Tang's stern toward it. 4 aft torpedoes ready. He fired all 4. 3 hit. The transport stopped dead. Her stern sank. The bow rose vertical. She went down in 90 seconds. The third tanker was burning. 1 torpedo had hit forward of her bridge. Another struck her engine space, but she wasn't sinking yet. O'Kane still had targets. He reloaded the forward tubes. 3 torpedoes left in storage. He ordered the crew to move fast. Standard reload time was 15 minutes. Tang's crew did it in 9. While they worked, the Japanese escorts finally figured out where Tang was. 2 destroyers converged from opposite sides. Searchlights locked onto the submarine. Deck guns opened fire. Shell splashes erupted around Tang's conning tower. O'Kane ordered emergency dive. Tang's bow dropped. Water crashed over the fairwater. The submarine slipped beneath the surface at 22:48, depth 80 feet. Japanese destroyers raced overhead. Depth charges detonated, 4, 6, 10. The explosions hammered Tang's hull. Light fixtures shattered. Cork insulation rained down. Gauges cracked. But the pressure hull held. Palau-class submarines were built strong. Test depth, 400 feet. Crush depth, estimated 600 feet. Tang was only at 80 feet. The depth charges weren't close enough. O'Kane ordered Tang deeper, 120 feet, the bottom of the Taiwan Strait. The submarine leveled off just above the mud. The destroyers lost contact. Their sonar couldn't penetrate the thermocline layer where warm surface water met cold deep water. Tang became invisible again. O'Kane waited 30 minutes. Then he surfaced. 2,320 hours. The convoy was gone, scattered, running. But smoke still rose from burning ships. 3 confirmed sinking. 2 tankers and 1 transport. Maybe 15,000 tons total. One night's work. Tang recharged her batteries and headed south. Hunting. The next night brought another convoy, even bigger. October 24th, 2,100 hours. Radar contact 20,000 yards. Tang's SJ radar operator counted ships, 2 transports, 3 tankers, 1 freighter, 4 escort destroyers. The convoy was well formed. Escorts on the flanks, heavy ships in the center. They'd learned from yesterday's disaster, but O'Kane had 21 torpedoes left, enough to destroy the entire convoy. He positioned Tang ahead of the formation. Let them come to him. At 2000, the convoy reached Tang's position. O'Kane surfaced 3,000 yards from the lead ship. The night was darker than yesterday. No moon, thick clouds, perfect hunting conditions. He drove Tang straight at the convoy's center. At 1,200 yards, Japanese searchlights snapped on. They'd seen Tang's silhouette. Deck guns opened fire, 5-inch shells, 3-inch, even machine guns. Tracers streaked across the water. Shell splashes erupted 50 yards short, 30 yards, 20. O'Kane stood on the bridge, shells screaming past his head, sea spray from near misses drenching his uniform. He never flinched. He aimed Tang at the largest tanker and ordered fire. 3 torpedoes, all 3 hit. The tanker exploded. Secondary explosions rippled along her deck. Aviation fuel. She'd been carrying aviation fuel. The fireball rose 400 feet. It lit the entire convoy like daylight. Tang was completely exposed. Every Japanese ship could see her now. 2 destroyers turned toward the submarine, ramming speed. O'Kane ordered left full rudder. Tang swung hard. Her diesels screamed at maximum power. The first destroyer missed by 40 yards, the second by 60. But now Tang was heading directly at a transport. The transport was also trying to ram. Neither ship could turn fast enough. Collision was inevitable. O'Kane made a decision that saved his ship. He aimed Tang's bow at the transport's bow. Head on. The transport's captain panicked. He turned hard right to avoid the collision. But another tanker was on his right. The transport slammed into the tanker at 15 knots. Both ships locked together, metal screaming, hulls tearing. O'Kane fired 4 stern torpedoes into the wreckage. Both ships sank within minutes. Tang kept moving. O'Kane swung the submarine toward 2 more targets, a transport and a tanker. Range, 900 yards. Point blank. He fired 2 torpedoes at each ship. 4, Mark 18 running. All 4 hit. Violent explosions. The transport broke in half. The tanker's back broke. Both ships sinking. Then an escort destroyer exploded. O'Kane wasn't sure if Tang had hit it with a stray torpedo or if it had been caught in the fireball from the burning tanker. Either way, destroyer destroyed. Tang had been in the middle of the convoy for 6 minutes. 6 torpedoes fired, 6 ships destroyed, and the escort still couldn't land a solid hit. O'Kane headed for open water. He'd expended 15 torpedoes in 2 nights. Only 6 left. Tang's XO reported from below, "Captain, we have 6 fish remaining, 4 forward, 2 aft." O'Kane acknowledged. He would save the torpedoes for the return voyage. But at 0130 hours, radar picked up another contact, a single ship, dead in the water, probably damaged from the earlier attacks. O'Kane closed to investigate. The ship was a transport, 8,000 tons. Her engines were stopped, crew abandoning ship, lifeboats in the water. Standard doctrine said to let her sink. She was already finished. But O'Kane didn't trust standard doctrine. Ships could be saved. Salvage crews could tow them to port. The only good enemy ship was one on the bottom. He ordered Tang to finish her off. 2 torpedoes. Make it quick. The torpedo room loaded the forward tubes. Tube 1 ready, tube 2 ready. At 0227 on October 25th, O'Kane fired the first torpedo. The Mark 18 left the tube. Electric motor running. Gyro stabilized. Depth set for 10 feet. The torpedo ran hot. straight and normal, for 15 seconds. Then something went wrong. The gyro malfunctioned. The torpedo turned left, sharply. It began running in a circle. O'Kane saw the wake, white water, curving, coming back, toward Tang. He ordered emergency full ahead. All engines, hard right rudder. Get out of the torpedo's path. Tang's diesels responded instantly. The submarine surged forward, but she was too slow. Submarines aren't nimble. They don't turn on a dime. The torpedo was running at 46 knots. Tang was making 12. The distance closed. 200 yards. 150. 100. O'Kane ordered everyone down from the bridge. 9 men were on the conning tower. O'Kane, the XO, 3 lookouts, the quartermaster, the radar operator, 2 signalmen. They had seconds. Most of them started down the ladder. O'Kane stayed on the bridge, watching the wake, calculating whether Tang would escape. The torpedo hit at 0230. It struck Tang's stern, the aft torpedo room, right on the waterline. The Mark 18 warhead contained 600 pounds of Torpex explosive, equivalent to 900 pounds of TNT. The detonation was catastrophic. The explosion tore Tang's stern off. The aft torpedo room flooded instantly. 13 men died immediately. The blast wave traveled forward through the hull. Men in the maneuvering room were thrown against bulkheads. Broken bones, concussions. The after battery compartment flooded. The engine rooms took water. Tang's stern went under in seconds. The submarine tilted vertical, bow pointing at the sky, stern sinking toward the bottom. O'Kane and 8 other men were blown off the bridge. The explosion threw them 30 feet through the air into the Taiwan Strait. Water temperature 72 degrees, survivable. But the submarine was going down. Suction would drag them under. O'Kane fought to the surface, gasped for air, looked for his crew. 5 men were swimming near him, the XO, 2 lookouts, a signalman, the quartermaster. 3 others were missing, probably dead. Probably killed by the blast or drowned immediately. Tang's bow hung vertical for 40 seconds. Men inside were trying to escape. The forward compartments weren't flooded yet. But the boat was sinking stern first. 78 men still aboard, trapped. Some of them tried using Momsen lungs, emergency breathing devices. They allowed sailors to escape from sunken submarines. The procedure was brutal. Wait for the compartment to flood completely. Equalize pressure with the sea. Open the escape hatch. Swim 180 feet to the surface while breathing from a small oxygen bag. Most men couldn't do it. The pressure change caused nitrogen narcosis, disorientation, panic. The oxygen bag ran out before reaching the surface, or the ascent was too fast. Decompression sickness, embolisms, fatal. 4 men made it out using Momsen lungs. They surfaced at 0310. All 4 survived the ascent. But they were 8 miles from land, in the middle of a combat zone, with Japanese destroyers hunting for survivors. O'Kane and the other bridge survivors clung to debris, pieces of decking, life jackets from the dead. They stayed together, tried to stay warm, tried to stay conscious. At 0600, a Japanese destroyer arrived. It had been part of the convoy Tang destroyed. Now it was searching for survivors, to take prisoners. The destroyer pulled O'Kane and 8 other men from the water. 9 survivors total, out of 87 crew. The Japanese didn't know who they'd captured at first, just American submariners. But when the destroyer's captain interrogated O'Kane, he recognized the name, USS Tang, the submarine that had just sank 10 ships in 3 nights. The Japanese captain was furious, not impressed, furious. American submarines had destroyed Japan's merchant fleet, starved the home islands, killed millions of Japanese through blockade. The submarine campaign was why Japan was losing the war. O'Kane and his 8 crewmen were transported to Ofuna Naval Interrogation Camp near Yokosuka. The camp was secret. not registered with the Red Cross. Prisoners there had no legal protection. The Japanese considered them war criminals. Submarine crews attacked civilian ships, merchant vessels, tankers, freighters. The Japanese military regarded this as murder. The Geneva Conventions didn't matter at Ofuna. Prisoners were beaten, starved, tortured for information. O'Kane spent 9 months there. The war ended in August 1945. American forces liberated Ofuna on August 30th. O'Kane weighed 110 pounds. He'd lost 60 pounds. All 9 Tang survivors lived. Against all odds, against brutal treatment, against starvation and disease, they survived. After liberation, O'Kane reported to Pearl Harbor. Naval intelligence debriefed him, documented Tang's final patrol, confirmed the ship sunk, calculated the damage. October 23rd to 24th, 1944. 8 ships destroyed in 2 nights. Total tonnage, approximately 45,000 tons. 3 tankers, 3 transports, 1 freighter, 1 destroyer. All sunk in darkness, all sunk using O'Kane's night surface tactics. The critics had been wrong. Night surface attacks weren't suicidal. They were the most effective submarine tactic of the Pacific War. O'Kane's final patrol proved it. He had taken Tang into the middle of heavily defended convoys, twice, both times in total darkness, both times surrounded by escorts, and he'd destroyed every ship he targeted, until his own torpedo killed him. President Harry Truman awarded O'Kane the Medal of Honor on March 27, 1946. The citation read, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity, at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty as commanding officer of the USS Tang operating against 2 enemy Japanese convoys on October 23 and October 24, 1944, during her 5th and last war patrol." The citation described O'Kane standing in the fusillade of bullets and shells from all directions to launch attacks. It described him charging the enemy at high speed, while explosions rocked Tang from stem to stern. It described him expending his last 2 torpedoes into the remnants of a once powerful convoy before his own ship went down. What it didn't describe was the innovation, the night tactics, the calculated aggression that made O'Kane the deadliest submarine commander in American naval history. Over 5 war patrols, Tang sank 33 confirmed ships, 116,454 tons, more than any other American submarine, more than Tautog, more than Flasher, more than Wahoo, #1. And O'Kane commanded her for every single sinking. His tactics changed submarine warfare doctrine. After Tang's success, other submarines adopted night surface attacks. USS Flasher, USS Barb, USS Archerfish. All of them used O'Kane's methods. All of them racked up massive kill counts. The Japanese never adapted. Their convoys kept sailing at night. Their escorts kept searching in darkness. Their lookouts kept missing submarines that were hunting them with radar. By the end of the war, American submarines had sunk 1,200 Japanese merchant ships, 5 million tons. They strangled Japan's supply lines, cut off oil from Southeast Asia, cut off food, cut off raw materials. Japan surrendered not because of atomic bombs alone, but because submarine warfare had destroyed her ability to fight. O'Kane pioneered those tactics. He proved aggressive night surface attacks could work. He showed other commanders what was possible. His legacy is every submarine captain who followed his example. O'Kane remained in the Navy after the war, commanded submarine tenders, testified at war crimes trials in Tokyo, served as commanding officer of Submarine Division 32, attended Armed Forces Staff College, taught at the Submarine School in New London, promoted to captain in 1953, commanded submarine tender USS Sperry, commanded Submarine Squadron 7, attended Naval War College, retired as Rear Admiral in 1957. He wrote 2 books about his service, Clear the Bridge, The war patrols of USS Tang in 1977. Wahoo! The patrols of America's most famous World War II submarine in 1987. Both became required reading at the Naval Academy. Both documented his tactics in detail. Both explained why night surface attacks worked. O'Kane suffered from Alzheimer's disease in his final years. Lost his memories of the war, lost his memories of Tang, lost everything except the knowledge that he'd served. He died February 16, 1994, at age 83, in a nursing home in Petaluma, California. He is buried in Arlington National Cemetery. His grave marker reads, Rear Admiral Richard H. O'Kane, United States Navy, Medal of Honor. February 2nd, 1911. February 16th, 1994. No mention of ships sunk, no mention of Tang, just the medal, the one that matters. USS Tang's wreck lies in 180 feet of water in the Taiwan Strait. The exact coordinates remain classified. The Navy designated her an official war grave. No salvage permitted. 78 men remain aboard, still at their posts, still on eternal patrol. A destroyer was named after O'Kane, USS O'Kane, DDG 77, commissioned 1999, Arleigh Burke class, still serving in the Pacific Fleet. The ship's motto is, a tradition of honor. A third submarine was named Tang, SS-563, commissioned 1951, served until 1980, sold to Turkey, now a museum ship in Izmit. And there's a fourth Tang planned, SSN-805, Virginia-class attack submarine, construction scheduled for the 2030s. The name will continue, because some stories deserve to be remembered, some tactics deserve to be studied, some men deserve to be honored. Richard O'Kane wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. His aggressive tactics got men killed. His final torpedo killed 78 sailors, but he also saved lives. His tactics shortened the war. His success inspired other commanders. His innovation changed naval warfare forever. And on 2 consecutive nights in October 1944, he proved something the critics said was impossible, that one submarine, handled aggressively in darkness, could destroy an entire convoy. 8 ships in 2 nights, all in darkness, all using tactics nobody believed would work. If this story moved you the way it moved us, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Every single like tells YouTube to show this story to more people. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're rescuing forgotten stories from dusty archives every single day. Stories about submarine commanders who hunted in darkness. Real people, real innovation, real sacrifice. Drop a comment right now and tell us where you're watching from. Are you watching from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia? You're not just a viewer. You're part of keeping these memories alive. Tell us your location. Tell us if someone in your family served in submarines. Just let us know you're here. Thank you for watching, and thank you for making sure Richard O'Kane and the 78 men of USS Tang don't disappear into silence. These men deserve to be remembered, and you're helping make that happen.